Hey everyone, we're live. I have no idea how many people are going to be watching this stream. It's a Sunday afternoon, so it's not exactly the prime time for people to be watching this sort of YouTube video. But I've got with me, this is one of my best friends. This is Paul Green.
Hello.
And not only is he a long-term friend, he's also my best camera operator. So I figure
I like to run camera.
he does a lot of other stuff too. He's actually involved in a lot of filmmaking and things like that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I co-own a production company called Mainstay Productions, and I also do freelance work, and I work with DJP, and got to represent, and love to operate camera. I do a lot of movies, a lot of feature-length productions, and I'm typically a camera assistant in those things, or a focus puller.
But he does run camera a lot too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he does a great job, and that's why I keep using him.
Thanks.
So, so we did a live stream on his YouTube channel the other day, and we had fun doing it. So I invited him to come back again.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. I figured it'd be a little more fun to have a little more interaction, especially for this type of video where it's meant to be kind of a Q&A. And when there aren't questions in the chat room, we actually have a list of questions that people have been asking me on YouTube and email and whatnot.
And we're monitoring. I can see questions here. You can kind of see them there.
See it.
I probably need glasses to see that far.
Yeah, I can see it. So we got a question from looks like Jonathan Scruggs. Is that right? What do you think of the new Blackmagic 8-Tab Television Studio HD? It's kind of funny that you would ask that question because
Is that part of the list?
it is on the list. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. What do you think of the new Blackmagic Design Television Studio HD switcher?
You must own this.
I do not. I do not own this. I do not. It's their bottom of the line switcher product. So it's several models below the switcher that I use.
Oh, okay.
It's
their introductory, or it's their
entry level model.
Entry level.
Yeah. It's their
maybe not bottom of the line, right?
It's still pretty nice.
Yeah.
The one thing that it's different from the others is it only does HD. It doesn't do 4K.
Okay.
All of Blackmagic's other switchers actually do 4K. For the type of work that I do, that switcher is a little bit small, but it seems to be a fantastic product.
So for those maybe not needing to do 4K,
yeah, someone who doesn't need 4K,
basic.
or they're only, it does up to 8 cameras, so there's not a lot of scenarios that you're going to encounter where you would need more than that. So
it's a lot of cameras.
It is a lot, yeah. The main problem though for professional work is four of the inputs are HDMI. So 4 HDMI, 4 SDI.
Oh, okay.
Which
it can accommodate maybe some consumer type.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, if nothing else, you can always get an HDMI, or sorry, an SDI to HDMI converter, like I reviewed in one of my previous videos, and then you use those other inputs for SDI that way.
Have you used it?
I have not, no. I played with it a little bit at NAB.
Okay.
And it seemed like a pretty cool product. The other thing they introduced is a Pro version of it, which actually has a control console built right into it. So it's got the buttons and everything, and a T-bar.
Oh.
And that one's a fair amount more money.
Oh, okay.
But for a lot of people, that's going to be a great product. I was actually looking at the regular one yesterday as kind of a backup.
Oh, okay.
So
that's appropriate for. That's funny that you happen to be looking at it. And
yeah. But yeah, it does look like a really cool product. The one thing that really confuses me about that one is the way that they're implementing the TalkBack feature. It actually has TalkBack built into it.
Okay.
So you plug in a headset just like you would on the studio converter.
Or like a microphone or a boom
you
mic
can
or
do
something?
it. Yeah, you can do.
Oh, okay.
Whatever sort of mic you want. But the outputs are SDI, and that means you're running SDI back to the cameras. And it seems like Blackmagic has historically wanted to do fiber for their bidirectional runs. And so
those boxes that you
for the silver camera converter boxes. Yeah, and so it seems a little odd that they did it that way, but that's what they did. And but yeah, I think it's actually a pretty cool product, and especially at the price point. It's only $995 for an 8-input HD switcher. I mean,
yeah.
A couple years ago.
If you're doing, I don't know, it seems like any live YouTuber would be using that.
Yeah.
Guys that are doing live streaming like this, it seems.
Yeah, especially because at that level, most people would be using consumer cameras that have HDMI outputs on it.
Oh, okay.
The one thing you got to watch out for HDMI is cable length limitations. Depending on the camera and the device you're going into, you might not get more than about 10 feet before the signal starts to fall apart.
Oh wow! And I've always had problems with that HDMI.
Yeah.
Just the way it's not a professional connection, so it's always hanging and breaking, and
Right.
eventually by the end of a production, it's just bent and
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
not even working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm always having to tape it and
A
just
lot.
like be so careful.
They're a lot more delicate. They're a lot more likely to pull out accidentally. You know, somebody
Yeah.
catches the foot on a cable or something like that.
And the lengths are just not. It's not a cable that seems to just lay and.
Most of them don't. No.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
it's-
we've got one HDMI cable here that we're using for our confidence monitor, and it doesn't want to lay flat no matter
No,
what.
it's just kind of.
So
little
it's a real mess underneath the monitor right now. I couldn't make it
Yeah.
couldn't make it neat without tying it.
It's a coil.
So,
So, should I ask another question?
well, we actually have another question coming in here.
Oh, cool.
So, you want to read this one out to us, Paul?
Jigglebone, have you used the Teradek beam system?
I have not used the Teradek beam system. It's a camera wireless system. Not just for cameras. They use it for any sort of wireless video transmission.
I wonder if I've used it. I have used Teradek in the past.
Actually, he probably has.
I just don't know that I've used it or not.
Yeah.
I know that it's a Teradek.
Yeah.
And I have set up Teradeks before. I mean, you have yours back here.
Yeah, but that's for internet
That's
live
a-
streaming. Yeah,
that's
it's a different product.
Specific one.
Yeah.
I've used one that streams to phones.
Mm-hmm.
You can do like 30 phones. I'm very basic when it comes to some of these things. So, like not knowing the model. But we've also used another one that's from Teradek device to Teradek device.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. They just work. They've
Yeah.
worked for me.
Yeah.
And that's the limit of my
Actually,
experience.
I'm-
They've just worked.
I'm going to grab 2 wireless systems that I got. So Paul can do a little dance and sing for us while,
Oh no,
while I'm grabbing that, but it'll only take 2 seconds. So
you can't see my knees.
he's doing the Charleston for us. So, all right. So I actually have 2 different wireless, and pardon the interruption here. I have 2 different wireless systems that I use.
Oh, is this water for me?
Yes, it is.
Ah, look at that.
Tried to think of everything. All right. So this first
Stay
system is from Idx. If you've done much with professional batteries, you would have heard of Idx. I'm sure you've seen Idx Batteries. Yeah, the
Yeah,
V-Lock
use 'em all
batteries
the
and the
time.
Anton Bauer style.
Yep.
Yeah.
Use them for LED lights.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. So they also make wireless products, which is a little odd. They've got the CW1 and CW3. This is the CW3. That one is the receiver. This one's the transmitter.
Do you have like a close-up camera? Or
Sort
is
of.
it this one?
We could use that one. Yeah, the remote control one's not working for some reason. So,
Is this what's program?
oh,
Stay tuned. Okay,
Hold
never
on.
mind. I could go like this. No, it's dark up there.
I see what it is. Okay, yeah. We're winging this.
This is raw and as real as you get.
If you can't tell, we are winging this. So.
Yeah, we're just winging it.
Okay, so
You
by the way,
wanna
I'm
aim
gonna-
it back into
I'm going to talk about this camera here in a minute.
Okay.
All right, so that is 7. There we go. Okay, so this is the, like I say, IDX. It's the CW3, and Paul's got the receiver here.
On off.
Yeah, on off on the one side, quarter 20 mounting thread, and then
Another quarter 20.
another quarter 20 on the bottom, and then it's got SDI output and power input. And the transmitter is very similar. I kind of have mixed feelings about this, and same with my other wireless system. Thank you. They say that they're good for 1080p 60, but it's only true. Well, we'll have to have another discussion about this, but it's only true for 3 gig level A. And they don't work level B. And unfortunately, Sony cameras, Blackmagic cameras, a lot of other cameras in this price range are 3G level B. And so
You would know that. And I'm glad you do. Somebody's got to know this stuff.
when you play with it enough, you learn these things. So anyway, when I hook up my cameras that are 1080p to this, I have to do some really funky processing on on the video coming out of the receiver in order to make it work.
Huh.
I can't just run directly into the monitor. I can't run directly into a switcher. In fact, what I run it through is a Decimator Design MD-HX.
Is that the new one?
I don't know if the new one would work or not. That's
Oh,
the LX.
okay.
It's the new one.
Okay.
I don't know if that one will work or
I
not.
don't know if that's loud. I have my mic hooked to the lanyard. Sorry.
So we still don't know if it's going to work with the new one or not.
Okay.
And that hasn't
But
started
hey,
shipping
if
yet.
you're monitoring, if this is a production monitor
Mm-hmm.
that a client is using, or somebody that would that still work?
Yeah. Most people.
I mean, just
Most people using this for that sort of scenario, like the situation that Paul works in more often than not, you're shooting like 1080p 24 frames a second. And it works fine with that. It's just when you get up to 60 frames a second that this starts to have some issues. I've tried working with the manufacturer on that to get the issues sorted out, and they stopped responding to my emails.
oh,
So I don't know the status of that. Now, the other wireless I got, and I've got another question, so I'm going to go through this one very quickly. This one actually has the exact same problem. This is Cinegears.
you want me to get this camera going?
Sure, why not? Just open this thing there and it turns it on.
Okay. Let's see. Try to be a little.
Okay. All right. So this is the Cinegears 600M, a Ghost Eye 600M. This one's kind of neat, and it has an SDI out and an HDMI in on the transmitter. 600 in the model number actually means it's supposed to go up to 600 meters. I haven't tested that, so I don't know for sure. The receiver is kind of a beast. It's massive. 5 antenna inputs in order to try and overcome situations with noise and interference. That's also one of the ways that it gets the additional range. On the output side, 2 SDI, 1 HDMI, and then it uses LEMO connectors for power. Now, this has the exact same problem as the IDX, so it doesn't like the 1080p 60.
Oh.
I've been emailing back and forth with
Even with all that real estate.
Yeah. I've been emailing back and forth with the manufacturer on this one to try and get that resolved. They're eager to get it fixed because I think they understand how common the sort of gear that I'm using is. But so far we have not been able to get the problem fixed. They did put a new firmware version on the equipment for me to supposedly support level B. Didn't work. It's still all messed up, and so I've essentially got
Do most people use level A?
on the high end. So if you get into like the $50,000 cameras, those are level A.
Okay.
But when you're talking more the prosumer cameras like I'm using, so my Sonys and the Blackmagic, all the Blackmagic cameras, they all use level B. And so if you're shooting 60 frames a second, 1080p, there's some issues with these. If you're shooting 30 frames a second, or you're shooting 1080i or 720p, they work fine. It's just that one, you know, I like to shoot everything 1080p 60.
But have the option to have that level is good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. My 1080p 60 is my preferred way of shooting stuff because it down converts very nicely to 1080i for when something needs to be broadcast or whatever. And it also works really well for slow motion because you're getting 60 frames a second, so you can slow it down and things look pretty good.
Okay.
So anyway,
Well,
okay.
We can move on to the next
Yep.
question. You got that one? Jonathan Scruggs again.
Yeah, do you want to read it for us?
Sure. I'm needing to get some sort of video matrix for our church. Would you recommend the BM40x40, or after using it, would you recommend another?
I love the Blackmagic Video Hub. He's talking about this thing right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let me go.
Okay.
I'm gonna go grab one to look at here.
I'm alone again.
Yeah, Paul's gonna do another dance for us.
I'll just do some ventriloquism.
Yeah, it's funny that this came up as well because I do happen to have.
You have an extra?
I have an extra at the moment.
Wow.
Paul knows why, and I'm.
I know why. Anyway, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. But I actually really do love this product. This thing is fantastic. 40 inputs, 40 outputs on the back. You route any input to any output. 6 gig, so it does 4K up to 30 frames per second. And it's got a fantastic monitor on the front. This is one of the best.
Is that the monitor that I liked?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's an awesome monitor.
Yeah, that monitor is
Just
full.
visually, you know, the image coming out of it
Yeah.
is by far surpassing all of these.
Yeah, let's actually get,
Just looks so
let's
nice.
get the program feed up on there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's a full 1080p monitor. It looks fantastic.
It's good.
Nice, good contrast, good viewing angles. Not that you buy this product for its monitor, but
So you would recommend this?
I do recommend this product very highly. This is probably one of my favorite Blackmagic products, actually.
Is there another one that if you didn't have the budget to go on something like this?
I haven't found anything from any other manufacturer that's even in the ballpark price-wise.
Okay.
These are a bargain compared to whatever the other things that are out there. This is the 40 by 40, 6 gig version. They have a 12 gig version, so it does 4K at 60 frames a second, but it's twice the price. So
Okay.
you have to be doing some pretty serious stuff to need that. They also have a 20 by 20 model, 12 by 12, it's a 12 input, 12 output. Then they have a variant of that they call the clean switch, which has a frame synchronizer built into it as well. And that's kind of nice to have because one of the techs at Blackmagic told me this at NAB a year ago. The version that has the frame sync on it, all of the outputs are frame synced, and so everything's gen locked. So you can actually switch live off of the outputs from.
Okay.
I think
Cool.
I must be blowing people's minds here, but yeah, it actually accesses 12 video input, video output frame sync in addition to being a video router. So
Just give me a camera. I'll operate the camera. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
so anyway, yeah, I very highly recommend the Smart Video Hub
But
products.
that other one you were talking about that had 12.
Yeah.
What's that model?
So they're all called Smart Video Hub, and then it's like 40 by 40 or 20 by 20 or 12 by
gotcha.
12.
Okay.
And then the one that's a clean switch, that's this. I think it's just called the clean switch 20 by or 12 by 12.
So that other one has some of the same abilities, just less.
Yeah,
Just
it
fewer.
has all the same routing capabilities, so you can hook up to 12 sources, output to 12. So for most people, a 12 might be enough. It's hard to say. For me, 140 by 40 wasn't enough. So
If one is good, two is better.
2 is better, yeah. Like I said on Paul's channel the other day, why buy one when you can buy 2 at twice the price?
Exactly. There you go. Do you want me to read another one?
Sure.
Eric Wildeman. Wild man. Is it Wildeman? What playout do you use? And do you have a social media client?
Makes this play out. I'm not totally sure what he's talking about there. He's talking about live playback. I play most of my stuff directly out of Premiere. Just with the
Playout. Okay.
yeah, so like if I need to do playback or whatever, like for example, we shot that rugby thing a little while ago. We had commercials between the games.
Okay.
I just played them off the Premiere timeline using the Ultra Studio interface box. So, all right, so.
Yeah, go ahead. So what about the social media
client?
Is that something like this? Am I thinking of the right thing?
There are some products that integrate social media stuff in with the video streaming stuff, and I haven't bothered with any of that. That hasn't been something it's been a lot of.
That's a graphical. You can kind of see a social
integration.
media.
Integration, yeah. So, like for example, the what's the name of the company? I can't remember the name of the company. They produce switchers in the same kind of price range. They actually have some social media integration features that they include in their products. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
And I wouldn't even have it in the top of my head.
Anyway,
Okay.
let's move on. Yeah.
So, DSLR films. You want to read that one? You read that one.
Okay, can you do a behind-the-scenes video of a big project of yours? I've been wanting to do that.
I'll do it.
Yeah, Paul and I have been talking about this. We run into a couple problems. First of all, we're insanely busy.
It does get crazy.
When we're
busy.
setting up and when we're taking down.
Yeah.
Like very often we have to be in and out as quickly as possible, and there isn't necessarily a lot of time to do behind the scenes.
I am going to be vlogging. I started a vlog, and I will most likely.
You want to share the address for that?
I could. Yeah, it's kind of just a journal that I'm doing. It's what a vlog is. It's a video log, and I consider it a journal. But I will most likely be vlogging our next production, and you could at least see it there. If not, we try to do at least set up like a time lapse camera or a something like that. We definitely need some media of the stuff we do behind the scenes. So that will definitely be something desirable.
The other problem we have, and this has been a huge issue. A lot of people ask me for samples of the work that I do, but the people we're working for generally don't want their proprietary stuff or their facilities out on the public internet.
If it's a conference, it's a business conference, a lot of them do it just for tax purposes, I guess, to have their video in-house saying that, hey, we actually did this conference. And
well, and there's also just like training their employees and whatnot. And they're training stuff on stuff that they don't want. Trade secrets. They don't want that stuff out there in the public.
It's the art of war.
And
I've been to a few of those conferences.
A lot of these companies are very private about this stuff, and they don't even necessarily want any behind the scenes sort of things being shot. So we've been trying to do it for a long time. We've talked about it for over a year.
So I'd say as soon as we can, we will do it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's something we want to do as well.
Yep. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Larry E. Masters. He says he has a 40x40 and he loves it. Bought the 12x12 clean switch version also for mobile unit. You can never have too many input or outputs.
No, that's very much true. In fact, the biggest thing that I've ever done video-wise is a project that I haven't been able to announce yet, and I'm not going to be able to announce it here today, but it's coming. And that project, I'm going to have two 40x40s, and I'm still going to be out of inputs and outputs. I'm going to have certain things hardwired. So yeah, you can never have enough.
So I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, Paul's helping me with that project, so.
Yeah.
So.
It's going to be fun. Cap Pictures Incorporated trademark. TM. What's a good graphics program for doing stuff like lower thirds?
Okay. Casper CG is one thing that a lot of people use. It's free and open source. Very hard to use, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's not easy. What I use is software that I wrote. And so I can't necessarily tell you about other products because I wrote the software that I use for my own needs.
He does a lot of programming, and I'm talking a lot.
It was my career for over 30 years writing software, and so I've been doing video nearly as long, but it's been kind of in the background until now.
And I'm sure I am not allowed to say what he's worked on, but it's a lot of stuff, and it's for big companies. So yeah.
Yeah. So as far as graphic software, Casper CG is a free open source solution.
Do you sell your software? Is it out on the market yet?
It's not polished enough to be used publicly.
But you suggest this other one.
As far as free and open source, the other thing you can do is just do it straight out of Photoshop too. I mean, Photoshop has a plugin for going right to the Blackmagic switcher.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you just say File, Export, and then the switcher is an option. So it just goes right into one of the 32 banks in the switcher itself.
Cool.
So that works pretty well.
Yet another thing he would know, of course. I use Photoshop, and I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, Paul doesn't do quite as much live stuff as I do. I mean, he's usually there running camera, but
I love doing live stuff.
It's more fun than
Yeah.
some of the production because it's more exciting.
I'm like, what can I do, Doug?
Yeah.
Put that here.
A lot of stuff that Paul does, and I've helped him with some of this, is filmmaking. There's a lot of sitting around doing next to nothing.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
especially feature movies that we do. Next one, Jigglebone. You should do BTS where you could put a GoPro on your head and just record. That would be awesome. I'm going to consider doing that. Larry E. Masters, how do you control all of your equipment?
Okay, all right. I knew this was another one that come up. It's actually the first one on the list.
Okay, yeah. It's on this list, huh?
Yeah.
We can check it off.
Yeah, I think it's the very first one there. How do you control the switcher? What's that button panel? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
And that's along that same question is what's that button panel? So you'll go into that as well.
So we'll start with the button panel. This is a product from X Keys. This is the 80 key version. I don't think they necessarily have a name for it. It has custom keycaps. So I just used a color laser printer to print out the text. So I just used, I think it was Microsoft Word to do the labels, and just popped them in there. So anyway, that button panel goes to a piece of software on the computer. Let me pull it up here. It's called Just Macros. Whoops, that's number. I know which input that is. I can't remember. 8. There we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this is a piece of software called Just Macros. So it actually interfaces with the X keys. So you go in here and you program what you want the different buttons to do. So like for example, edit button, and you set the different things that you want each button to do. So that said, I hate this software. I really do.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the bottom of the screen here, down here, look at all these errors that the software has thrown. And it's actually thrown enough errors that it won't output any more text. It reaches a certain limit of how much it can output, and then it just during startup it throws enough errors, and it has stability issues, and I just haven't been able to fully rely on it. There's been shows that it's died right in the middle of the show, and I have to close it and restart it, and so we're stuck on a certain camera shot while the software is restarting.
Oh shoot!
So
Is this one of the open source?
No,
things where you can go in and
it is a purchased product. I think the guy who's selling it charges way too much money for it. The base version is $99. It's got some limitations on it.
But you don't have any other software you would rather use, or?
Well, that's another one of my projects that I've been working on. It's like I'm working on my own software to interface this button panel to the ATEM switchers. That one's really far out though from being available publicly. So,
yeah.
But
okay.
I have some really cool plans for that. I'm going to do some really innovative stuff with it, things you've never seen done with switcher control before. But I just need some time to sit down and get it written. So
So you're going to write it?
I am going to write it, yeah.
Cool.
But for that very reason, I have not purchased Blackmagic's control panel. Blackmagic actually makes 2 different control panels that work with these switchers.
Yeah.
One that's rack mount size. It's $5,000, so pretty expensive. And then they've got a bigger one, like twice as long. It's $15,000.
Pocket change.
Chump change.
Doug drops out all the time on. I mean, what's this? Oh, okay. Well, I know you got to keep it to.
Yeah. I mean,
keep it a little bit.
It is. This is
tighter there.
Budget video production.
But yes.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. We'll keep that in mind.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna have a better solution here hopefully before too long. So.
And that goes along the same thing, Larry Masters. Do you have plans to sell your software?
At some point, I will try and sell everything I've been working on and things that I'm planning on working on. I've got so much going on right now.
That's going to be.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah. A little bit. Okay.
Yeah, like the software for controlling the PTZ cameras. I do plan on selling that. It's fairly close to being ready. I want to add support for more cameras before I actually make that public. Software for controlling the switcher. I've got one that I'm working on for controlling the smart video hub.
Cool.
And then I've got another one that's going to be for controlling the Idx Studio products.
Yes.
So.
For.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
See, I don't know. I got to hold my tongue here.
About a month from now, I'm going to be making a big announcement. We'll suffice it to say that. But a lot of these things that I'm talking about are part of that, and so.
Yeah, so come back. Make sure you guys come back.
Yeah, keep following the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe because there's some exciting things happening.
Hit the little bell. Make sure you get notifications too. Check it out. Like and comment. It's great to, I'm sure you like comments and to get feedback. And
and I usually respond to comments very quickly too. I think most people are impressed by how fast. It's like I spend most of my days in front of the computer.
Yeah.
Because of all the stuff I'm doing.
He's the gadget guy, so he can do that anywhere he's at. Almost.
I get little pop-up notifications when someone leaves me a comment, and I usually try to respond if it's a quick question. So.
Nice.
Anyway.
Well, I don't know how to pronounce this next name, and I'm sorry. Radek? Ladik? Sorry. I'm very American. Is this your software is this your software for graphics able to do alpha semi-transparent graphics in live production?
Yeah, so if it can, asking if it can do key and fill, separate key and fill.
Okay.
The version that I have right now does not. Again, another future edition.
Another future edition.
Yeah, was something I was going to plan on doing. Yeah, so
Okay.
you use two separate outputs on a deck link card in order to do key and fill. So are you familiar with how that works? Because if Paul doesn't know that, I'm sure there's a lot of viewers that don't know either. So what he's asking about
I
is...
know in lighting terms,
So-
because I'm very production oriented. I'm not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So with graphics, with video, you quite often have two video signals that you're actually running simultaneously. One is the actual graphics themselves, and then the second one is basically an alpha transparency mat. So it says this pixel...
Take this out? Or,
But yeah, sort of. You know, like this pixel is going to be 100% transparent, so you're going to see the background video through without anything else. Or this pixel, it's going to be 100% the actual graphic and not see any of the background behind it. And so, yeah, it's
two different cards do that. One.
You have two different outputs. You can use two different cards, or you can be one card with two different outputs. Either way,
Okay.
Yeah. But one will output the key, which is basically the transparency information, and the fill, which is the graphic itself. And so
You're going to be doing this?
I hope to, if I have the time.
I like that idea.
So-
And Andrew Wiggins, hi guys. What system do you use for comms to your cameras and on-air lights, tally lights?
Okay, there's another one I know is coming. Let me actually grab one of these silver boxes.
I'll take a drink because that kind of fills time when I don't know what to do.
Let me find one here.
It's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you
can
guys can't
imagine.
see it, but there's bins and bins of equipment just out of frame.
Yeah.
Let me find which one has.
That wouldn't be good.
I must have missed it. I've been through all the ones that should have it here. Oh, there we go. There we go.
It's the silver boxes, right?
Yep.
Yep. I know that much.
Let me grab the other piece of this too. There's two pieces to the puzzle. So, Paul's
How
gonna
about how about I grab this reel of? Oh,
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
should I show this?
Sure. That's fine.
Okay,
We'll do this other one too.
I'll just hold this for effect.
That one's heavy. Okay. So,
Thanks a lot.
don't hurt yourself.
Can't hold it on my knee.
That thing's very heavy.
There we go.
So everything we do is over optical fiber, and we'll just go over that very quickly so Paul can put these back down again. So both of these reels actually run 12 separate fibers in one cable.
This one.
So this one actually has the breakouts, so 12 separate breakouts on it. It's single mode fiber. This one uses an MPO MTP connector. You have to have a separate breakout box. But each one of those cables does carry 12 individual signals, which means 6 cameras, because 6 feeds from the camera and then 6 video feeds back to the camera.
I
back
think it's
to the
like
camera.
1.21 gigawatts, something like that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Okay.
So this cable's 150
I know
meters. The other one was 200 meters. So very cool to be able to do that. SDI cables won't run that far. But those fiber cables actually plug in. This product is called the Studio Converter from Blackmagic. There's another one right here. Fiber cables plug in the back. These handle sending video to the cameras, so program feed, so the camera operators can see program. It carries comms. It also carries tally. And if you're happen to be using Blackmagic cameras, it also carries the camera control information. So being able to control the exposure, white balance,
Yeah.
color, shifting the colors and
Like
whatnot,
a
color
CCU.
correction. Yeah, it's a CCU, basically. A Blackmagic version of a CCU. This has one SDI video input on it from the switcher, which carries the CCU information and the video. And then, the feed's coming back from the camera, comes at fiber, and then has an SDI output on here that goes back to your switcher.
And then at the camera level, you want me to hold this?
Yeah, go ahead. So at the camera level, this is what they call the camera converter. So it's this little box we set up at each camera. It's got the fiber connections on one end, and then it has an SDI input and SDI output. The SDI input comes from your camera. SDI output goes to an SDI monitor if you have one, and it also has HDMI.
Here, I'll do this.
So you can do an HDMI camera and an HDMI output for an HDMI monitor. It also has connections for a headset. It uses basically computer style headset connections or iPhone style. So if you happen to have an iPhone headset you like, you just pop that in there. Or if you can pick up a computer headset, plug that in there. And then the other thing it's got is audio inputs, 1/4 inch. And these are a little bit odd because normally 1/4 inch is associated with line level audio. For some reason, Blackmagic decided to do microphone level on 1/4 inch, balance microphone level on 1/4 inch. So you have to have adapter cables, basically. Yeah, very odd. But this also has a battery in it, so it'll run without being plugged in for 2 to 3 hours, roughly.
Does it turn on? See some green lights?
Yeah, turn on some green lights there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's got a
battery.
little belt
Yeah,
clip.
there's a belt clip on there, so you clip it on your belt. And
If you're doing your wireless,
Yeah.
he made a setup that was kind of cool with that wireless system, right? Where you can be.
yeah, but
can
you
be all
wouldn't
wireless
use
to
this
your
with
switcher.
wireless though, because this is optical.
Oh.
You have to have the optical fiber with this.
Oh, gotcha.
But you could have, if you're doing that, you could have one really thin optical cable that you're running.
Forget what I said.
So
But you can put it on your belt.
yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
And there's a 1/4 And what's the big
it's
one?
a 3/8.
3/8.
Yep. Yeah, it's like
Should know that.
same size you see on tripods.
Yeah.
And the tally is just a red light here on the thing. It also displays a red box around the video if you're looking at your local camera. You can switch between local camera and program feed on here.
I liked that feature
Yeah,
because I knew I was live.
right.
So
Yeah.
that was very cool.
That actually reminds me. One of the things that I do, it's a little different than most of the people do in live video, is the feed I send back to the cameras is a 2x2 grid, which shows the first three cameras, the primary cameras, and then program. Most people just send program. Do you have a preference either way?
I like to see what I'm seeing on my camera. If it was, well, I don't know. It's nice to see all of the different cameras, like in a return, some of those.
Yeah, the higher
Massive
end ones.
setups
Yeah,
at
you have
the
a
return.
single button you just press for the
Yeah,
return.
and then you can see what's live or whatever they send you, I guess.
Yeah,
But it's nice to see the other cameras. Then I know I need to get a different shot. So
yeah.
if they're tight, I go wide. If they're wide, I go tight. And
The director that we work with a lot, he doesn't necessarily give a lot of direction as far as what shots to frame. So it's kind of like a lot of times when we're
we
doing
have some freedom.
yeah, we have some freedom. A lot of times when we're doing these shows, I'm running camera. I'm actually on camera. I'm not running this stuff. I got another guy that's doing the directing.
Just make sure it's all up and running.
Right.
And then
Yeah, I act as sort of the engineer, but engineer isn't necessarily needed all the time, and so I will step in and run a camera as well, which is nice because if something happens, I can usually step away from the camera, just frame a nice wide shot or
Yeah.
something, and lock it
Yep.
lock it down. Then I
Which
can
we've
actually,
had to do.
yeah, we've had to do it quite a few times. Then I can walk away.
It's budget live,
Yeah, it is.
but it looks fantastic.
But yeah, but I personally love being able to see the other cameras. Therefore, I know that two other guys are getting a wide and a medium shot. Therefore, I can get a tight shot.
Yes.
Or that kind of thing.
I like the way you set it up. We've had a four up screen and program and my camera and a lot of times I'll just look at the monitor because the monitor is bigger than my little LCD.
Right.
And then there was a setting where I could switch to just mine.
Yeah, that's the program program button on the
So
camera.
It's nice.
Camera converter. So
should we look at another one here?
sure.
Larry E. Masters again. Have you ever used New Blue FX Tidler Live?
I have not. I can't comment on that at all. So
Sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Philip Klaus, how do you usually budget a production? Let's say 3 manned cameras, 4 hours live event with live stream and recording.
Should we just go to the website? I actually have a calculator for it on my website.
Yeah.
So we'll bring that up and let's see. I can't remember. That's camera 8. Yeah. So switch to that. So www.djprod.biz, and from there scroll down.
djprod.biz.
Yep.
Brought to you by djprod.biz.
So this is a calculator, and this is actually what I use when I'm doing bids on jobs. I don't necessarily just send clients here. I also use it myself. So for example, what was his example? He said
Crap, 4 cameras. Pardon me.
Let me go back.
3-man cameras.
3-man cameras, 4 hours
live.
Okay. Okay, it's 3-man cameras. So first of all, you have to have the live switching equipment and video engineer. Quite often we can use the engineer as a director if we need to, and we'll do 2-man cameras, so 2 cameras with 2 operators. And I think we forgot to fill in, 4 hours total. Is that what he said?
Did you say 3-man cameras?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I filled in 2 because I assumed that me as an engineer would probably operate a camera as well. But say, for example, we did do 3 separate ones. We'll just fill that in there. So three cameras, 3 operators. And then basically the site builds the quote for me. And so as I scroll down all the way to the, actually we need to, live streaming, internet provided by the venue. We just have a $25 setup charge for that. And then we have to decide, the client has to decide whether they want the video on hard drive or not.
Let's do a customer provided hard disk.
Yeah, there we go.
They can go to Costco and get
That's
one.
right, exactly. Yeah, and it actually tells how big of a hard drive they need based on the length of the event.
Oh, wow.
If you want isolated individual camera recordings, you just check that box and it does the math and figures it all out. So
fantastic.
So scroll down to the bottom here and get the actual quote. So 2115.91. So
rounded up to 2116 or down.
Sure.
Well, down 114.
So anyway, I use my own website in order to develop the quotes, and those prices tend to be a little negotiable. But it's kind of a rough guideline. So I try to pay my camera operators $300, $350 a day, and that's where the bulk of the money actually goes, is paying the camera operators. The equipment costs are not that high. Let's see. Switch back to that. You can see here the 3 cameras plus the switcher and recorders, $760 for the day, and then the 4 people.
Yeah.
Running it, $1,400.
I think some of the numbers are fudged a little bit. I mean, it's definitely depends on what the shoot is, honestly,
right.
Because to say that it's one price is kind of tough. Too.
Oh, it is. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I say this is just a rough estimate.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that
if someone came to me,
higher, lower.
If someone came to me and said, "I'll give you $2,000 for that job," I'm gonna say, "Oh, absolutely, yeah, no problem. That's not a problem at all." If someone said, "I'd give you $1,800," I'd probably take it. It's
for a job similar.
For a job like this, yeah.
Okay. Where's our? Did we go back to our?
Yep. Let's go to our.
Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see where we are now. Carrie. Knoop. How do you say that?
Got me.
Sorry, Carrie. Do you have any tips to protect unmanned cameras on a tripod? I'm always worried that they'll get knocked over, tape cones, etc. What works for you?
Anything to just keep foot traffic away from them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I typically, we're always near them. And if we have to go away out of sight, I'll take the camera off of the head and put it just in between the sticks and right in between the tripod.
Yeah. You can get away with that more than I can with the live stuff, because usually we got like monitors and other stuff that are all hooked in.
Yeah, it's true.
So
the
cable becomes more of a problem.
Yeah, I guess that's a cinema instance for me. But we use tape. We tape off sections. We don't want people there. Put a couple chairs and put tape around it too. Especially when we're in an audience, if we're having to put a tripod there, we'll take out some of the chairs and just tape it off. And
bottom line is do whatever you can do. Do whatever you have to do.
I mean, if you got to have an assistant just like standing next to camera, and that's kind of what I do 12 hours a day is I stand next to the camera. I don't move away from it. I know that's not the perfect scenario, because who's going to do that?
That's where you bring in your interns, right? It's like, go stand by this camera.
Yeah. So always having an eye on it, or at least just doing what you can. I think you're on the right line.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Just keeping foot traffic away from it's really what it boils down to. So.
Philip Klaus, great calculator for the first quote and very transparent for the customer. Thanks.
Yeah, I thought that was unique. I mean, I tried to look online to see if I could find anybody else who's doing instant quotations like that, and I didn't come up with anything. The one fear I have is too complicated because there's a lot of options available, but it's kind of the nature of the business, you know, like how many different types of cameras do you need? Where do you need them? What time of day? Like what's the venue like? I mean, there's just a lot of things that come into play.
It's
and
good
so,
to have it all down and just have it automatic. And he's one to think of that. He definitely
and being
thinks of the minutia.
well, and being
all
a
of
software
the
developer,
things.
I can do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And
So you wrote the whole thing.
yeah, I created the entire website.
You're not using a template.
No,
You
no.
you did the whole calculator. And
I did the entire website from scratch.
yeah, I remember you saying.
I coded it line by line. So
So it looks like we're
caught up.
caught up on the list. So we've got some
How many people
commonly
are-
asked questions
How many people are actually watching?
online.
Peak concurrent 15 viewers. That's not too bad for the sort of content we're doing.
Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for watching. You have printed out commonly asked questions. How are you controlling the camera with the Xbox controller?
Okay.
You control a camera with an Xbox
Well,
controller?
when it's working right now, it's being
I knew that already.
really goofy today for some reason.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get the software. Bring the software up.
He's going to bring the software up. He's going to try to get the
Okay, so
controller
this
to
is
work.
this is custom software that I've written, and apparently it's having a hard time connecting to the camera.
Are you programmed on live chat?
Yeah,
Oh.
because it's the same computer that's running the
Oh.
control
Okay.
software.
I was
trying to so-
figure out there what production.
I'm thinking I have a network issue going on here because it's not controlling the camera very well at the moment. Let me see if it. Yeah, it's not working at the moment. But,
Okay. Next question. Well, you know that.
Bottom line is it's software that I wrote. This is a Sony pan-tilt zoom camera. It's the SRG 300 SE model. I have.
Is that it right there too?
Yeah, there's another one. Just happens to be just sitting around.
Yeah. There's just an extra one sitting there. Oh yeah, I forgot the motto.
Yeah, but I have a love-hate relationship with these things. They work pretty well for the most part, but this one, number 2, started having communication issues, and I bought a new circuit board for it.
I hope that's not the case with this one set up over here.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not the same issue because I still haven't come up with a great resolution.
I've
for
always
this.
seen it work very well, and I guess, you know, this
Software-
whole job is like problem solving, right?
Yeah,
all the time. It's
that's the
constant.
nature of the beast. You're constantly solving problems, but replacing the circuit board solved the problem to a point. The one problem is Sony will not acknowledge that this is a problem. You can't change the IP address on the camera with a new board. For some reason, it's the board shipped from the factory, not fully programmed, and the IP address can't be changed.
Oh dear.
And so I have to do all
That
sorts
doesn't
of
sound
funky stuff in order to communicate with my camera number 2, because it's on stuck on a single IP address that I can never change. So
Come on, camera makers.
yeah,
It's happening
Sony.
here.
I hope they get that fixed because it's a real problem.
Andrew Wiggins, thanks for watching. He says thanks for the answers and thanks for watching. And we have Itamakadij. Can you please give me some insight on why YouTubers stop 11 hours and 55 minutes during a live stream and the rest are not visible on the site?
I haven't a clue. I haven't run into that, but I don't generally run things quite that long. The longest things that
That's
I
a lot of
stream.
hours.
Yeah, the longest thing I've ever streamed was I think 8 hours.
Was that an event?
Yeah, it was a rugby competition.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And we actually broke that up into separate videos. So one for the morning, one for the afternoon, and then one for the tournament that night. So sorry, I wish I had an answer
That was
for
the
you.
longest. Oh, and he said, "Hey guys, I'm Paul from the Philippines. Such a great day for having the most practical site." Cool, thanks. If that's directed at us, then awesome. Oh, maybe for the calculator.
For the website, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some more questions here we're missing. Maybe let's see your PTZ there
Oh,
thing. How do you transport your equipment, Doug?
how much can I say? I have a
Multiple vehicles.
I
Well,
have
knowing you.
well
got it.
most of
Truck.
the time I'm actually able to get it in my pickup truck. It's not ideal, but it's a lot less hassle in most cases than taking my trailer. I have a trailer that I use as well, 6 by 6.5 by 10. Try not to take it though, because the trailers can be kind of a pain to deal with.
And you've really managed to shrink the size of all the necessary, I mean, everything it's more than we even need on events, but he has just what he needs, and it does fit in your truck
and
most of the time.
So this goes in the back seat. The cameras and monitors fit in the back seat, and then all of the other gear fits in the bed of the truck. And
that's
works.
why we can do it fast.
Yeah.
Fast and very effective still.
For example, there was a series of events that we were doing. They're actually okay with us talking about. It's called CineStage.
Okay, yeah.
It's basically they do music concerts in a movie theater.
In a movie theater. That was really cool.
Yeah. The problem is it was in a movie theater.
Yeah.
A working movie theater.
Yeah. And it's a newer one, so there are some accessibility things like power and audio, but
the main problem we ran into because it's a working movie theater, we couldn't get in until the prior movie was done.
Yeah, the time was a factor.
Yeah.
We had to get in there and be set up in how long? In a couple
depending.
hours.
Yeah, if we were lucky, we'd have an hour and a half to set up. In most cases, it was closer to an hour.
And we're just like constantly
You're
moving.
just flying, you're just like
you
go set up those 3 cameras. Yeah, and I was
setting all these
I
cables.
was setting up this stuff, and I usually handle setting up the PTZ camera and hooking into the theater's projector. That was a little bit involved, getting all that going.
3 main cameras, the
PTZ, and then usually one locked off.
You had one locked off that was near the switcher that you could kind of grab in case you needed to.
Yeah, so we normally run 6 cameras for that gig, and we'd set up in just over an hour.
And we would project onto the screen too. You figured that out.
Use the theater projector, in order to display it.
People loved it. It was. I think it gained a little local notoriety because it was by people, and they would come back all the time and dance in the aisles, and it was fun.
Yeah, so
and they do cover bands.
I haven't told you this, Paul, but they actually asked us to come help them again. So they stopped using us for a while because they were running into budget issues, and they couldn't do it in the movie theater anymore. And they moved into a facility that has their own cameras, and so they were going to try doing that.
Into their own cameras.
Yeah.
Oh, we would use other.
No. That's the first thing I told them. Like, no, I'm not using your stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do this,
that's a tough thing. You go in and you have to. We'd need at least a day to prep if someone else's gear was there, and that's just kind of not what DJP is all about. I don't think.
Well, and everything here is designed to work well together. So I mean, it's like set up a camera, we run a fiber line, hook it to the camera converter converter goes to the camera and the monitor, and we're done. It's easy, it's clean, it's fast. And if we're using somebody else's equipment, having to figure out how to interface with that, but
we get yelled at. It's kind of like.
In their case, their gear isn't very good. They're using pretty inexpensive cameras, really inexpensive tripods, and so the streams that they've been producing.
Well, and your whole
jumpy
setup,
and
your whole setup is you have every piece of equipment made for each other, and you've got them specifically to work the way you want it, and it's worked.
Yeah, it works out well. I mean, I'm not sure how many people can actually say we set up for a 6-camera event in less than an hour.
Yeah,
and streamed it to the internet too.
We could have, it was really fast. But
in this particular case, these guys, the cameras they're using, they don't have like a knee control, and so bad blowouts. Like people's foreheads are just overexposed. It looks terrible.
If you're going to have us do something in under 3 hours, have a lighting guy too. That's not us, because they had a lighting guy, and so at least we had some lighting.
Yeah.
But that was still. That's tough. That's always a tough thing.
So
looks like we're getting some more here.
Okay.
From Carrie, what do you recommend for audio hookup from a mixer? I think there are often impedance issues. Which device works for you? You're an audio guy.
Yeah, I did audio long before I did video. I haven't had any issues with audio, to be honest. Right now, the audio we're doing right now is running through a little tiny Behringer mixer. It's network controlled. It's actually on the floor underneath here. Yeah. Just the line outputs that into the line inputs of the switcher. When I do my other videos, I just go direct into camera. because it's just one source, and I'm not going to bother with the mixer and all that stuff. And so I just, wireless mic receiver direct into the camera, and camera audio through the mixer, the switcher, whatever. But I haven't had any impedance issues. Just make sure that line level goes to line level, mic level goes to mic level, and it works
Cool.
fine. So,
Okay.
but try and stay with balanced as much as you possibly can, though. Don't try and avoid unbalanced audio. And if you have to do the conversion, get an actual proper impedance transformer, impedance matching transformer. So.
What he said.
Yeah, I don't do anything with unbalanced audio anymore. I've given all that up, so I haven't had that problem in years.
Andrew Wiggins, am interested to know who you prefer to use for your host live broadcast, e.g. live stream, Facebook Live, YouTube, etc., and why do you choose that provider?
That's usually up to the client that we're working with. We don't necessarily make that choice. And so when someone hires us, they're going to say, we need to go to Facebook or whatever. They all have issues, I'll say that.
You just push the button on here for Facebook
Yeah.
and one for YouTube. And
Yeah, I haven't done a video about what I use for internet streaming. It's this thing right here. It's called a Teradek Video.
I'm going to get a shot of it.
Sure.
Let's see. Camera turning on. There it is.
Yeah,
Focus.
there we go. Not focused yet. Yeah, but there you go. So it's a device by Teradek called the Video. HDMI input, Ethernet or Wi-Fi output. It handles all the encoding and everything. And it basically works with pretty much any of the online streaming services. Works well with pretty much any online streaming services.
It's working right now.
But
Good thing it didn't cut out when you were pulling that. Must be secure connections. Must be a valid product.
yeah, there's different platforms that have different issues. YouTube usually works okay, although I've not been able to get YouTube to stream any higher than 720p. So this video is being shot at 1080p. In fact, I didn't start the recorder, so we only have the live version. Oh well.
Oh. Do you want to
well.
just hit it?
Yeah, too late.
Can't you just go, doot?
No, yeah. So we're recording.
Might as well. Just
Might as well just have the end. Yeah, YouTube, I've not been able to get anything better than 720p. And no matter how fast my internet connection is, YouTube always complains that it's not getting enough video, enough data. The data rate's too low. But it always works. I mean, your stream looked great.
Yeah, it did look great.
The final upload looked
we
great.
did a live stream on my channel.
A week ago or so. Yeah.
A week or so ago. And
Yeah.
It looked great.
Looks great. Yeah, normally it looks great.
And it was a YouTube. It was a YouTube.
The live stream itself, though, had some glitches, but the recording was fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so many people watching it may have seen some glitches. There probably actually have been some glitches in this video. But YouTube is getting all the data, and the version that they later post
Yeah.
is fine. Facebook,
Interesting.
the only issue I have with Facebook is they love to do copyright strikes against people. They will take down a video for any minor infraction.
YouTube seems to be a little more lenient than that. They'll say, sorry, you're not monetizing, but
Yeah.
we'll still have this here.
Yeah, YouTube's got a lot of licensing agreements in place with people for content, and so
They've been doing it
if you
for
happen
a
to have some
long
music
time
in the
too,
background, sometimes you can avoid that. Like for example, if you're shooting a concert and they're playing music before or after the show, you just mute your audio, so you don't have the copyrighted material.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah,
sometimes you don't have control over that. If the music is part of a show or something like that.
Okay.
But in terms of the technology, I haven't really had much of an issue with them. But yeah, so.
Okay, these are piling up now. This is good. Let's see. Andrew Wiggins, I am interested to... No, wait, we did that. 2 thumbs up, and please help us on how to optimize our stream, because we do have have laziest internet connection back in the Philippines. Okay, we will...
Yeah.
We're just getting the nicest equipment possible. And it's up to them afterwards, right?
Yeah. That's going to be a tough one. I mean, you kind of have to pick a bandwidth that's going to be good enough for a good enough quality of video, but not so much that your internet varies enough to bring that down. You can look into something called bonded connections, where you take 2 or more internet connections, and use them simultaneously in order to give you additional bandwidth. That's more common with cellular. There's
Never heard of that. But
the,
I'm glad you're here.
the version of this one model up. It's called the Video Pro. It does have an option for doing streaming through up to 4 separate internet connections. So what they do is they send it up to their servers, and their servers combine the data and then send it.
Do you think you would ever go to something like that? Is that necessary for what we're doing?
I may have to. Because
Have that option?
yeah, like more often than I thought I would ever need to, I have to stream over cellular. You would think that a lot of the venues would just have good internet.
Yeah.
I'm finding that's not necessarily true.
No.
Like the movie theater we were shooting at, nothing.
Yeah.
They
You
had
had to set
nothing.
up his own antenna outside,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. I ran a cellular radio outside the building. Cellular was spotty even then,
Yeah.
and so we'd get a live stream, but it didn't necessarily always work that great. A bonded connection would have been very, very helpful in that situation.
Good. Larry Masters, so you use audio controller ATEM software when using one camera?
Well, yeah, basically, yeah. All I do is basically turn on the one channel in the ATEM software and call it good. So, yeah.
Okay, Carrie, did you get a chance to try the BM Web Presenter, and what do you think about it?
I have not tried the Blackmagic Web Presenter, mostly because I already have this video streaming solution that I use. That's part of it. And the other part is I have had, not just me, but most people have terrible luck with trying to do live streaming off of computers. And the Web Presenter, for anybody who doesn't know, is a device by Blackmagic that takes video in and then outputs it via USB to a computer, so then you can upload with your own software for live streaming or whatever, or capture software.
Oh.
Basically just a video capture device. I've seen very rare instances where internet streaming actually works well, and so I've just kind of avoided the whole mess. I use dedicated hardware, and that has worked pretty well. So
Good. Let's see. Do I need to scroll up? I may need to scroll up. Is it this one? No, I guess we're good.
it's a touch screen, so you can use the
Sean
screen.
McCabe. I've had success streaming 1080p on YouTube with a bit rate under 3K
Yeah.
Wirecast.
Yeah, the video does have a 1080p option of the bitrate under 3K. Compromises in video quality are enough that I generally don't like to use that.
Yeah, he says that's with an upload speed of 15 to 10 megabits
Yeah.
per second.
Yeah.
15 to 20.
15, 20. So, yeah, and if you have a good quality connections, 15 to 20, yeah, you could probably get away with it. We don't have great options for internet here for some reason. I don't know why that is. I guess if you're in Provo and you have Google Fiber, it probably would be pretty good, especially to YouTube, right? Because you're on Google's own network.
Right.
But I'm on Comcast here, and
Comcast has been good, but I don't do what he does.
yeah, it's
You don't
not.
think
I have
it's-
not found it. I'm supposed to get 10 meg up,
Yeah.
and when I do
Is that the case?
when I do
Is that not
tests,
the case?
it actually shows that it's 10, but I'm not able to stream any faster than about 4
Wow.
megabit. It becomes unreliable. So, but even facilities that have internet that's supposed to be a lot faster, I've not had any luck getting 1080p at 6 megabit or faster to work. 6 megabit's kind of the baseline for good quality 1080p.
We'll have to
So-
go to a building or
Yeah,
on our
fine.
next venue. We'll see what they've got. Larry Masters, what if a client wants to stream to multiple services? How do you handle that?
I haven't had to deal with that, but if I did have to deal with that, I probably would do 2 separate boxes.
Two of these?
Yeah. Since this has come out, there's been a few companies, I'm sure Chinese, that have come out with less expensive products that do the same sort of thing. I found one on Amazon the other day. It's $160.
Oh, was this one more?
It's 700.
Oh,
So
wow.
I would definitely consider that.
Put it on your bench, test it.
Yeah. In addition, though, I think there's some services out there that handle that. So you basically stream to some paid service, and then they distribute it out to multiple live streaming services. But I haven't run into that.
Oh.
I haven't had to deal with that. So everybody that I've worked with said, we're going to use YouTube or we're going to use Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's never been an issue for me.
I guess that would be make sure you get that handled in the pre-production. He says he tried Teradek Core recently. He was not happy with the quality. I had to use the lowest quality output for Periscope using the Cube.
It's supposed to be cube.
Cube
Yeah.
655, forcing me to send this. Same quality on Facebook, YouTube, and my own RTMP service.
Okay. Yeah, this Teradek is a little bit different product than their Cube and then their other lines. They're,
I remember the Cube.
yeah.
That's an older product, wasn't
They
it?
still have them. Yeah.
Okay, that's probably the only one I sort of
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, the Cube is, well, they got different models. Like some of them are meant to do wireless, some of them are meant to do wired. So you can send video from this place to this place and you have a wired connection between them. They have encoders and decoders. The cool thing about the Cubes, these Sony cameras, they have the, I need to do a video on this, but these Sony cameras have internet streaming built into them, and it works with the Cubes. And so you can use the Cube as a receiver for these cameras. So anyway.
That's cool.
I digress. But yeah, the Teradek VDU has worked fine for me for streaming. Main problem I run into is finding an internet connection that's fast enough to do 1080p at 6 megabit or faster. So.
All right. Andrew Wiggins, awesome. Thanks heaps, guys, for informative greetings from New Zealand. Hey, thanks for coming by.
That's an interesting thing about my audience. They're all over the world.
Yeah, that's cool. I would love to go there one day. Let's see. I end up using Wirecast. Had better luck. There, that's Larry again.
Yeah, I've heard some people have better luck with it. I've only tried it a couple times. Wirecast is a piece of software for streaming, internet streaming.
Looks like you're getting help here in the comments.
Yeah.
Philip's talking to you. He says, Masters for
It's a message to Larry Masters, yeah. Multiple stream
multiple
destinations, different locations.
Destinations with different resolutions and bitrate. You could go through a service such as cloud.switchboard.live.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that something that
I haven't
you know
used them
about?
because I haven't had to deal with that situation.
Okay.
So
11 hours and 55 minutes link, and it's serious issue, and here's the link.
yeah,
Okay, that's
again,
another.
yeah, it's again
that's
something
another
I haven't had to
thing.
deal with.
Samuel.
But thanks for helping each other out, guys. I mean,
Yeah, that's great.
This is meant to be
It's
a discussion.
nice to,
So
yeah, that's cool. Who's on? Samuel. Have you ever tested Vmix for streaming? I like it a lot. Greetings from Norway.
I have not used it
Hey,
once
welcome.
again because I've got the hello Norway. I've got the Teradek, so I've been happy with it, and I just always use it. So I haven't really spent much time with other services or whatever. So
Let's see. Philip, it's quite expensive and a monthly subscription, but they
I
have
think
great
it's talking-
customer service. So that was regarding the last.
yeah, I think that's the multiple
thing.
streaming services.
Okay.
So
Well, let's refer to
go
our
back to the questions.
questions here. These are commonly asked questions to DJP. What do you think of the Blackmagic Design Studio cameras?
Oh boy. I get this one a lot too, and I unfortunately don't think people like the answers that I give to them. So you've seen them at NAB, like the Blackmagic cameras that have their own built-in 10-inch LCD on the back, and they use
Isn't that the little box I see guys using all the time? The little sloped box with the
That's more of their production cameras.
Okay.
They have a live camera.
yeah, and then they have a little mini one too, right?
Yeah, let me just pull up their website and show everybody what we're talking about. So, products.
You want to go to it on here?
Yeah, I'll switch to it once I get to the
Oh,
page.
okay.
So, yeah, the Blackmagic Studio
Oh
camera.
yeah, okay. I'm
Whoops.
familiar with that one.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so,
The world's smallest broadcast camera with the world's largest viewfinder.
which probably is true, but
Tell us, Doug. Tell us.
okay.
You're free
Bottom
to
line-
speak
Bottom line,
candidly.
thumbs down.
I've never used it.
The low light sensitivity on these cameras is terrible. So this situation right here, we've got 3 pretty good sized LED panels illuminating the room.
And a rim.
And a rim light.
So there's 4?
Yeah, the 4 LED panels. The studio camera in this situation would barely show anything at all. It's really, really dark. And so your only option at that point is to use lenses with an absolutely huge aperture. The main lens that I've used with I have the Micro Studio camera, which is basically the same sensor, it just doesn't have the screen.
What kind of lenses do these use?
Micro Four Thirds. So,
Proprietary?
well, it's not really. It's the same camera, same lenses used by like Panasonic, Olympus
Okay.
cameras.
Okay.
So
Not
like
familiar, but
like the GH4, GH5.
Yeah.
You probably heard of those. Yeah, they use the same lenses. I should probably just grab mine, huh? It's convenient that I
Show and tell.
have all this stuff
Yeah.
nearby.
It's convenient. It's all just right here. You had it all planned, ready to go.
Okay, so this is the Micro Studio camera. This is
Yeah.
basically the same camera as
Hold it. Maybe over here.
it's the same camera as their full-size studio cameras. It has the same sensor. I'll actually even remove the lens cap here. So yeah, it's a reasonably large sensor for what it is. Considerably larger than you typically get with live cameras. Like I say, the low light sensitivity is awful. So let's see.
So basically,
Thumbs down. So
Thumbs down?
this lens here, it's an f3.5 to 6.8. So, but even at its widest, when you're at 3.5, you've got to have a lot of light. It would work outdoors, or if you're actually really in a studio setting. They call these studio cameras, and I think they call them that for a reason.
because they're assuming that light's going to be pumped in from every direction.
Yeah, exactly. You know, better lit than what we've even got going on here. So, but yeah, for example, the CineStage events that we did, that camera would have been useless, absolutely
Yeah.
useless. It just
Well, because
doesn't
we were
gather
already
enough light.
fighting with light, and they had a lot of lights.
Yeah,
but,
they did bring a lot of lights for that.
but we probably need to
wasn't
be able
enough.
to control some of that too in the future for ourselves. But
Yeah. But
Okay.
bottom line, the Blackmagic cameras, if you can get enough light, they look okay. But the other problem is the lens selection. You know, it uses Micro Four Thirds, and there just are not that many Micro Four Thirds lenses out there that are appropriate for doing video. And so, I have to give them a thumbs down.
thumbs down. And me, haven't used them. I've seen this one, and it is a bit dark.
You have used the Ursa Mini though.
Yes, and because we've had a gaffer and several grips that were lighting the scene
Yeah.
nicely. But still, it seemed
It has to be well lit.
we've been outside. Yeah,
Yeah, and
so
the Ursa actually is better about low light than these cameras are.
I would assume so.
So,
Being the nicer cinema
right.
type
Yeah, but
cameras.
that camera has its own issues for live use. So, that's another topic for another discussion.
Not alive, not built for that. Right?
I don't care for Blackmagic cameras for live use. I'll
Yeah.
say it that way.
Let's see. Everyone says Blackmagic design equipment runs hot. Have you ever had issues with this setup?
I have not had any issues with it, but part of that is probably because I have a blower in the back. It's 1U unit made by Middle Atlantic. I forget the model number. It pumps a lot of air.
That was a totally separate thing that you installed. For
yeah,
that.
yeah. But even before I put that in there, I didn't have any issues. I mean, things would get warm, but they.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
these two.
It's warm. But
These two
that
get the
seems
warmest
normal.
on this side. I actually got out a thermal camera to see how warm things.
Oh yeah, that's a bit warmer than that side.
Yeah, but it's not hot. I mean, it's not uncomfortable
Yeah, no,
for me
it's-
to have my hand on there.
No, it doesn't seem.
But having
Doesn't seem like an issue.
But having the blower in the case has made a huge difference. You know, it's constantly circling air. I intentionally designed the case for air to come in from the bottom, be forced up through the top and then out the back, and that has worked pretty well. I've never had any heat issues. Even shooting outdoors, even having this stuff outdoors in the sun, it's been fine. So not really a
you
problem.
want to keep it covered anyway. I'm
Yeah.
sure you did.
Yeah,
But,
we were under a tent, but
yeah. Let's see what else we have here. From Radic. I'm using OBS with
open broadcaster. Yeah.
with NVENC, NVENC for streaming, and works really nice. Greetings from Prague.
More. Hello, Prague.
Hello. You guys are from all over the place. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, so that was a statement.
Yep.
Gotcha. Thanks. The camera. What camera do you prefer for low light?
It's the same camera I prefer for all my live stuff, and that's the Sony PXW-Z150. That's what we're shooting with here. I've got 3 of them. Love them. I love these cameras. They are great.
They're cool. They're good cameras.
Yeah, and this camera that we've been pulling out occasionally here, this is the Sony PXW X70, which is a new favorite of mine. It's 95% the same camera as the Z150 in a much smaller body. So it's got the same size imager, nice 1-inch sensor, so it's huge, so it captures a lot of light. You don't find 1-inch sensors in camcorders, that's just non-existent. These do very, very well in low light. I've been very impressed with them. Better than
Zeiss.
Yeah, this one has Zeiss. The other one has G series lens in it. The G lens is actually a little better. So
2.8. So what this goes to?
2.8 at the wide end. Yeah, both of them are 2.8 at the wide end.
Cool.
So, but the two cameras are essentially identical. Middle Atlantic QBP2. Yes, that is the one. That is the blower that I'm using. Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. So works great, and it's not very loud. So.
No. Oops. Me moving is probably louder.
Paul might be loud, but
yeah, I might be louder. I'm sorry if this is. I don't know what that sounds like. It's just the two of us here. So, audio guy.
Yeah, we don't have any audio guy. No.
Okay. Well, I'll refer back to the frequently asked questions to DJP. What are you using to stream to the internet? I think we did that.
I think we covered that. Yeah, the Teradek video. Yep.
How do we get in touch with you?
Okay, just go to the website. I set up a short link, djp.li, that's my link shortener, /contact, and it takes you to my contact page, and then you can fill that out.
Say that again?
DJP for Doug Johnson Productions,
Okay.
.li
.li
/contact.
/contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I have link shorteners
I'm sure
for these cameras. For example, the Z150, it's djp.li /Z150, and then the X70 is /X70 for the HD version, or /X70 4K for the 4K version.
Like what?
So you go to your browser, djp.li.
You can access the camera?
No, it's like the information on the camera or to buy.
Oh, okay.
So
you're giving information about this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Just clarifying.
Yep.
Oh, we got another one? What about the PTZ camera for low light?
My SRG 300 SE is okay. It gets pretty noisy in low light.
Is that what this one is called?
Yeah. That's what this camera that I use is. I don't have enough experience with other ones in order to make any sort of better recommendation. I went with that.
4K?
This camera does not do 4K.
Okay.
4K PTZ cameras are almost non-existent at this point. Sony announced one a few months ago. It's $12,000. So
we'll wait on that.
I'm going to hold off for a bit on that.
Not get two of them, I guess.
At that price, better only buy 3, right?
And we briefly talked about this. Do you run cameras wirelessly?
Yes, I do. For sporting events in particular, it's nice to have a roving camera. That's when my Sony and now I always get this model wrong. HXR MC2500. It's a shoulder mount camera.
You did a video on this, right?
I've mentioned it in a few videos.
And it's the shoulder mount.
Yeah, it's a shoulder mount camera.
Yeah, it's the bigger one.
Yeah, it's super inexpensive for a quote-unquote pro camera, and it has a lot of usability issues.
Issues? Bad issues?
It's not designed for manual control, and so like changing the exposure and things like that is awkward at best.
Okay.
The image quality is actually fairly good for what it is, but it's a shoulder mount.
It's something to have an option.
Yeah, for wireless, you've got to have shoulder mounts. Like you do not want to be holding a camera out in front of you.
No,
that's
true.
For long periods of time. So that's the reason I got that one. And yeah, I use the IDX. Is that right? I can't remember. My brain. My wireless. IDX, I think is what I call it.
Oh, IDX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, IDX CW3.
Yep. Oh, you never showed the set the transmitter?
Yeah, I should.
I mean, it's
just briefly.
Yeah.
So
it's got antennas on it.
Yeah, and then the Cinegears Ghost Eye for the wireless. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna choose one of these here.
Okay.
Is your equipment noisy?
Well,
our mics are getting close to it. There are fans on. How many fans you got in there?
pretty much each one of those pieces of equipment has its own fan.
Okay.
But if I'm standing behind this, you can certainly hear it more,
Yeah.
and that's the reason a lot. It's quite a few of my videos I do the headset microphone instead of the lavs, but it's not that bad. A lot of people complain about the noise, but it's really not that bad.
And we've talked about the talkback and the tally.
Mm-hmm. Briefly, yep.
When do you use more than one video recorder?
Okay. Yeah. So, whenever I'm recording, I use at least two, like because just in case something goes wrong with one.
Have some redundancy.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. Something can go wrong with a memory card, or the recorder itself could glitch, whatever. Yeah. I always do at least two recorders.
I say it has, not with them, but for me on other things, I have seen SD cards go bad.
Yeah, and it does happen. It does happen.
So you have...
I have three Idx Studios in here. Yeah. So most of the time, two for recording the program feed, and then a third one for recording the quad view with the intercom audio for training camera operators and directors. So that's kind of the reason there's three in there.
And we have done, you've streamed a live, one time we did that. Mm-hmm. We streamed a live quad.
Yeah, we streamed the quad view live.
Quad view with our
intercom audio.
Because I thought it would be kind of fun.
Yeah,
that was cool. I need to.
A lot of our friends are involved in film and video and stuff, and so
And it was great for training. It definitely was.
Oh yeah, it's great. Go back and particularly for the director. I think less so for the camera operators. The camera operators can kind of see what's going on in real time, but for the director, they're constantly under pressure while the show is going on. They don't have time to think about what's going on. After the fact, then go back and watch the quad view and see what the camera operators are doing.
See what his line of thinking was.
I should have given this person direction to go wide or something like that, or I should have cut here instead of.
Or like now I'm hearing the beat. Like we can go.
Right.
It's like I wasn't paying attention to that last time.
Right. Yep. So.
Which lenses can the BMD cameras control?
Say again. Sorry.
Which lenses can the BMD cameras control?
Okay, so the Micro Studio camera and whatnot.
That's the one we were talking about before.
Yeah, so they have a feature in them where they can control the zoom of certain lenses. There's only a handful of Micro Four Thirds lenses that have power zoom capability. Blackmagic lists them on their website, so anybody that's curious about that, just go to their website. So. Okay. Larry actually asked a question here.
All right. Show the back of the kit on your table.
The back side of this? Back side of the rack?
Yeah. I'm going to be camera off on that.
We've got a very, if you can figure out how to fit back there. This table shoved as far back as we possibly could. We needed as much room in front for us to sit as we can get, so.
Let's see.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's see.
So you're live.
I'm doing it kind of like a selfie camera here.
Yeah, so up top, we're going to start at the top here. So that's the Middle Atlantic fan that we talked about. And then
Is that this right here?
Yep. And then it's a power strip. It's one of those that has power outlets on the front and back. So there's 6 outlets on the front and 10 on the back. And then underneath that is a custom rack panel. It uses Middle Atlantic. I forget the model number on that thing, and then I just filled in with my own connectors. It's got several network, USB for upgrading the firmware on the switcher, and then some XLR ins and outs. And below that, 48 BNC input-output panel, custom labeled. And
Sorry, it's hard to see
yeah.
what's going on, guys.
Yeah, I'm surprised you can see this at all. There's no light back.
Trying my best.
There's no light back there.
Yeah.
And then let's say the 2-blank panel, and then an HDMI to SDI.
Let's see, I gotta change the
Terranex MIDI converter, and then.
It's upside down now. Sorry, I'm confused.
And then a Terranex Mini SDI to HDMI converter, and then the Blackmagic Multiview 4, which is how we do the quad view onto the cameras. And then a input-up panel with HDMI, optical, and...
Are you seeing what you want to see there?
Yeah, so I think so. Yeah, so
see if you can see what I'm doing here.
You can stop killing yourself there, Paul. I think we've probably...
Cut to the other camera so I can see how contorted I am. Oh.
It doesn't look as bad as it feels, I'm sure. Sure, feels much worse than it looks.
Okay.
So, Larry, does that answer your question? I've actually cut down on the amount of equipment in the back of the rack. I've been able to consolidate quite a bit of stuff. The big thing that's made a big change for me in this unit is moving from the the HyperDeck recorders, 2 individual SSD recorders, moved to 3 smaller ones. So I get 3 recorders in 1 rack space instead of 2 recorders in 2 rack spaces.
It's fantastic.
And so that gave me some room for expansion and whatnot. So, and then moving to the 2ME switcher instead of the 1ME took care of some other needs that I had. So anyway.
Decimator.
Oh yeah, decimators. Yeah, yes, there's 2 MDHX decimators and then 1 MD Cross. I added the MD Cross a little while ago. That's actually what was doing the color bars when we first started the stream. Again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have your clock here.
Oh,
like we did before.
Should I get my clock out?
Well, is it?
It's relatively handy.
Oh,
so
yeah, whatever.
You can do another dance for us while.
Yeah.
Or
I
grab the
asked
clock.
for it. He's got a really cool clock that I don't know how recent. You know, we went to NAB and we're looking at all these different creators of clocks, and holy cow, the prices on some of these clocks. And I think we went to 3 or more booths until you decided on.
Until I found one that I actually
found one
liked.
that you really liked.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was budget friendly.
This is one of these things that it's for future upgrades, future capabilities. So it's an NTP synchronized clock. Yeah, it takes a minute to boot. It's actually got a computer in it. There we go. Yeah, so that's
This is Mountain Standard Time.
Yep. So it's synchronized with an NTP server.
Cool.
So.
Anyway.
Okay, so Larry has one other question here. What size cards are you using on the HyperDecks? I use 128s, 128 gigs. Forget what.
Is that?
Lexar 128 gig,
Pardon
633 times speed, and I put 2 in each unit, and so when one fills up, it spills over onto the second one. And
do you use 128s for any specific reason?
it's the best bang for the buck right now.
Okay.
256s, you pay a premium.
Yeah.
So 128 is kind of the way to go. And it's big enough that I can record video for over an hour before it spills over from one to the other. So.
Cool. What codecs do you use for recording to the SD cards, and what kind of SD cards do you use? You said it was.
Yeah, this is a Lexar. I also have like this one is a SanDisk. But I shoot just regular ProRes most of the time. So. The model number of the clock. It's
the model, just the model of the clock.
Yeah, it's a company called Master Clock, and I forget the model number. It
runs off
they've
of
got
just the one cable, huh?
Yeah, I got the power over Ethernet version, so it gets power from my Ethernet switch inside the rack.
Oh dear.
Oops.
What was that?
That was weird.
Was it this cable that touched it?
Yeah, it must have been.
Are we still?
Yeah, we're still fine.
Okay.
So yeah,
Stuff was changing.
It's from masterclock.com. People freak out when I tell them how much I paid for that thing.
Yeah.
It was $500, but
it was $500.
It was $500.
It wasn't.
It wasn't $2,000 like all the other ones that I looked at.
But it's a very accurate professional clock.
Yeah, it's supposed to be accurate to less than a tenth of a second or something crazy. But
you answered the question, where can I get it, right?
Yeah, masterclock.com. You buy it directly from the manufacturer.
I'm just having you repeat it. I heard you say it.
Yep. But if you're doing live internet or live internet streaming or any sort of live broadcasting, you want to know exactly what time it is.
Totally.
And so I picked that up. So. All right.
Well, we're getting back to the paper here. Is your custom software available? You talked about that earlier.
Yeah, nothing's
Not
available
yet.
quite yet.
Right?
Yeah.
But you think you will probably have something.
Yeah,
out there eventually.
that's the plan. I want to do that. I mean, if I need it, I mean somebody else needs it too.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll make it available at some point.
What is the difference between hyperdeck models, the hyperdeck models?
Okay, all right, so in Blackmagic's hyperdeck line, we'll start at the top of the line. We got the 12 gig. Do we need a visual aid?
I don't know what the hyperdeck is. I have to see it.
That's their SSD
I
recorders.
have to see with my eyes to believe it even exists.
I'll grab two of them here. I'm getting quite the pile of stuff at my feet here. Okay.
Yeah, you had these here.
Yes, I did.
Right?
They used to be in my rack. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start with, this is the HyperDeck 12 gig, 12G. Fairly basic on features. I record, all the SSD ones have 2 SSD drives.
Did these come out?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that one's going to be really tough to get out. Yeah,
Just
there you
wanted
go.
to
Yeah. So
show it a
this
little bit.
this does 12 gig, so it does 4K at up to 60 frames a second. But otherwise, doesn't have that many features. If you want one with a lot of features, that's when you get the Idx Studio Pro. It has a lot more inputs and outputs on the back. So like XLRs for audio, component video.
Do we want to
for
see
analog.
a close-up on this, or?
I don't know if it's necessary.
Okay. I almost did it anyway.
Psych.
Some people might want that.
Psych.
You don't want it.
If you want to see it, you can go to the website.
I mean, that's why you took it out of the rack. So.
Well, I took it
Just
I took it out of the rack for space reasons, more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted the extra space in the rack. Not that I had any real problem with these. But this is the Pro, Idx Studio Pro. This one's actually more expensive. This one's close to $2,000. That one's $1,500. This one has just like a lot more I/O on it. It's even got Thunderbolt. For
Nice.
yeah.
For that other platform that he isn't totally fond of.
That's another discussion for another day.
Yeah.
You say that as
I'm sort of an Apple guy.
I have a Mac within arm's reach here, so
You will break it. Don't make me break this thing. No, I'm a sort of a Mac guy, and
I'm more Windows, but
more Windows. But
I have both.
I have both too, but I don't have that much as he does.
Okay, so anyway, if you want the one with the most I/O, Idx Studio Pro.
Pro.
Yep.
Go
but
Pro.
4K is limited to 30 frames a second. It doesn't do 60 frames per second.
Okay.
So they only have the one model that does 4K 60.
There you go.
Then the next model below that, just the regular Idx Studio 2 is what they call it. It only goes up to HD SDI, so it doesn't even do 3 gig. So your 1080 is limited to 1080i, or if you're doing progressive, 30 frames per second or less. So I had one of those. I got rid of it because I don't shoot anything at 1080i anymore. I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
So,
Moving up in the world.
yeah, and then they've
All
got
these Ks flying around.
the Idx Studio Mini, which are these guys, 3 of those. Records on SD cards instead of SSDs. And
Did we get a shot of these?
I
I don't think we got a
did.
shot of these. These are worthy of a close up, right?
The gander. Yes. So these 3 units here record on SD cards. These are pretty nice. I've quite liked these. The main issue with these is like when you get into the faster SD cards that you need for actual 4K, they get pricey. They get really pricey. They're considerably more expensive than SSDs. And so if 4K is what your predominant workflow, the SSD models are going to be a cheaper way to go. Even though they're bigger and they're going to take more space, but make your
It'll make your 4K happy.
yeah. So all right.
Are you using your own software to control the HyperDecks too?
Not yet, but it's coming. Again, there's another big announcement coming that has to do with that, so can't speak much to that today.
How about power over Ethernet?
Okay, yeah, so this is another one. It's kind of an unknown technology, but it's very cool technology. You're seeing an example of that
We've been
right
doing
here.
this for years. Power over Ethernet?
Yeah, and people who work in
He's been making these boxes.
custom
These
boxes to do
custom
stuff.
boxes. I'm like, it does what? It's like, I didn't know you could do all that.
Yeah, those are more using analog technology to do all sorts of fun stuff.
Okay.
But power over Ethernet is actually where you send power for a device over an Ethernet cable. So it gets both a network
Like
connection
that.
and power over a single cable. And so obviously I'm using it for my clock, but I also use it for my PTZ cameras. And so when I'm hooking my PTZ camera, I run an SDI cable and I run an Ethernet cable. An Ethernet cable provides both the communication to the camera to control it and provide power for the camera as well.
And then the video signal through the
Video signal through the SDI. Yeah.
SDI.
Yep. It's power over Ethernet. In order for that to work, you have to have a device which supports power over Ethernet, or you get a PoE splitter. And on the other end, at the switch, you get a switch that either has PoI built into it, or you get what they call a PoE. I said PoI. It's PoE injector. In order
I'm not going to shake my head yes or no because you're just telling me.
Yeah.
I learn a lot of things that I don't retain. But.
Yeah. So the PoE is very commonly used in corporations for their phone system. So, they have IP-based phones, so they use the internet protocol.
Okay.
Digital phones, and they have one cable that comes into the phone, which provides not just the internet connection, but also power for the phone as well. So, but I've taken advantage of that technology for cameras and for other stuff.
Cool.
For example, when we're doing streaming over cellular, I use PoE to get power to that cellular modem. So I'm only running just the one cable instead of having to run power and network separately.
He does it all.
So
yeah, so that was a commonly asked question.
I've had quite a few people ask me about PoE. Yeah.
What types of fiber does Blackmagic Design work with?
Okay. Blackmagic.
And we talked about that a little bit. Is it any of this?
Yeah, you can bring that. You can hurt and kill yourself again.
Yeah.
So
just so we can have a.
I didn't know this when I first started getting into the Blackmagic stuff, but they use what we call single mode fiber. Multi-mode is more common, generally speaking, in corporations.
Sorry.
But Blackmagic uses what they call single mode fiber, and they use a UPC connector, which is they're color coded blue, so you can tell if you're getting the right cable for a Blackmagic product if it has a blue connector on the end.
What about these?
So these, it's single mode fiber, but it's what they call an APC connector for angled polish, and they color those green. So fortunately, UPC and APC, it's just the termination, so you can convert one to the other. But that's the problem. You have to do a conversion. So if you're looking to buy fiber for a Blackmagic solution, then you're going to want to get single mode with the blue connectors on the ends. So.
Okay. What do you think of the Ursa Mini for live events? we dusted on that as we were talking about low light
briefly.
Sensitivity and problems with that associated.
This one's really frustrating for me because Blackmagic really tries to push the Ursa Mini as a great live camera. And so they've got this studio viewfinder that they've come up with, and they've put a bunch of features into the camera in order to make it work well for live. And it even has a jack where you can plug in an iPhone headset, so you have talkback and things like that. Problem is,
it's just too darn manual, right?
That's a huge problem. Yeah. So like you're not going to get smooth zooms because your
lenses are whatever you choose.
Yeah, I mean, you can put a B4 lens on one of those things. The style they use for news gathering and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But the problem is those things produce a tiny, tiny image. So if you put that lens on that camera, you have to crop the center of the image. So you're only using a tiny portion of the center of the sensor.
Might as well use another sensor body.
Yeah, pick a camera that's better suited to that. The other big problem that they have is they've got a significant delay on the output. It's delayed by several frames.
Really?
So if you're doing what they call IMAG, which is image magnification, where you go into a projector inside the venue or something like that, you're guaranteed, if you're using those cameras, that you've got a fairly long delay.
Significant? It's
significant, yeah. It's about 4, 5, 6 frames. If you're shooting 30 frames a second, 6 frames is a fifth of a second. That's an eternity in terms of...
You'll be able to see the delay.
Yeah, you can really see the delay on
trying to get something right on.
Yeah, so... And the other problem is the Ursa Minis just don't have great low light sensitivity, and so... for a lot of the live events that are out there, you do not have control over lighting. I mean, it's just a fact of life. And so
I've used the Ursa a few times for cinema stuff, and it really looks just
it's got a beautiful image
nice.
for that.
I don't know how to explain it as far as
Yeah.
bokeh goes and things like that, where it's similar to, I'd say it's similar to like the Airy Alexa, if you're looking for a cinema thing.
Yeah,
But
if you're working,
that's just kind of me. I mean, I
it's,
don't know if that's...
it's entirely different problem.
Yeah.
So,
So the question was, Ursa Mini for live events, not so much.
no, I don't care for it much for that. It's kind of funny because like 90% of my stuff is Blackmagic design. You think like, oh, he really loves Blackmagic design. Well, the truth is, I love the best product for the job at
Being
hand.
very objective.
Yeah.
And I would agree.
And staying in a budget,
He
you know.
does.
I'm self-financing this stuff. I didn't like go out and get a loan or like anything, you know. I'm paying for all this stuff out of my own pocket, and so I have to be effective with the dollars that I'm spending. Would have been nice to be able to use like the studio cameras from Blackmagic because they are cheaper than these Sonys that I bought.
Yeah. They're just not doing it.
But they're not suitable.
No.
They're not suitable
No.
for the start of stuff.
Especially if we got to be in a venue where it's the low budget venues, you know.
Mhm.
They don't have lighting. They don't have
Right.
perfect situation.
Or if they do have lighting, it's you got a hot spot here and nothing
Yeah.
over here.
So you got to
and
boost up the cameras a little bit.
Yeah, you got to have a camera that can handle the wide dynamic range really well, and the Ursa does that fine for film, but it doesn't do.
Yeah,
have
because
that live
we
for-
can set
for
up and
live.
we look at it and go, we got to fix this. We have the time to do that mostly, or typically. Yeah, it's not on the live events that we have the time
Right.
to set up.
Yeah.
So let's see, Philip, is this one we haven't read? Have you considered changing from hardware-based products for switching and streaming over software solutions? Example, Livestream Studio, Vmix, or similar?
That doesn't really work for the sort of thing that I do because, for example, iMag is a huge part of the stuff that I do. I'm very often hooking into a projector live for this sort of stuff we're doing. So like we got a conference coming up this weekend. I need to talk to you about that, by the way. Conference coming up this weekend where there's a projector and it can't have a significant delay on it. And software-based solutions, that's just kind of a huge problem. And then for streaming for software, it can work, but it's very finicky. And more often, it seems like more often than not, there is just issues. And with the video that I've got, it just works.
VDU.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
VIDIU.
Cool.
So.
What rack case are you using?
Okay, so I've kind of settled on Gator cases for most of my stuff, and this one is the GR10U. So 10U front and back. It's not a flight-ready case. I'd never ever consider putting this on an airplane.
That thing
or
is
whatever.
heavy.
It's
as
heavy.
well.
Yeah, it weighs as much as I do.
It's a heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, we got two people on it, and your hands are still like.
Yeah.
It's
That's the thing.
got
Like,
gold bars.
if
in it
I
or
had
something.
gone with a higher end case, that would have added that much more weight to it, and it would be even that much harder to carry.
You almost
So-
need like wheels or something.
Yeah, but
Tall one. I've seen them with wheels, but hey,
I'm pretty happy with the setup I've got.
Yeah.
You know, this does a lot, especially for the amount of space that it takes up. You know, I don't think you're going to find too many setups that can handle 40 ins, 40 outs, 20 video sources in something this compact and something that can be carried around.
you've done the research. So.
But yeah, I've standardized
you
on
would
Gator
know.
cases. And the Gator cases stack well on top of each other. So like I have a separate rack unit that I have that's got intercom equipment in it. I set it on top and it fits well. And then I've got another one that's got auxiliary monitors and then my Terranex converter and some other stuff. And it just sets on top. And you know, my wireless audio stuff is also in those. So it sits on top and
They do stack nicely.
they stack very nicely. So
I came from software, prefer hardware now, crashing.
yeah, that's my experience as well. Yeah, just the hardware solutions are just a lot more reliable for streaming than the software ones are. So, just,
Well,
you know, some things it's just not worth the hassle. You know, you might be able to eventually get it working with the software streaming, but you spend so much time working on it that better put your effort somewhere else and just buy a hardware-based solution. So that's what I did. So someone introduced, I don't remember who it was, but somebody introduced me to the VDU products a couple years ago, and I tried it out and it worked great. So that's the way I'm going. So that's what I did. So,
I agree.
so
As you can tell, I don't know a lot about this stuff, but I'm glad to hear that
Paul-
you've done your research.
Paul is more the creative type. I'm the technology type. So, means we work well together. It's like, if we have a technology problem, I'll solve it. If I need somebody who's going to come up with something creative,
Maybe I can dumb it down a little bit and say, don't worry about it. Let's just shoot it with one camera, not 22.
no, Paul's good about making sure that we're getting a good-looking shot, or the lighting is right, or something like that. He's always good about that kind of stuff. So
that's what I like to do.
yeah.
So we've been going for
hour and 45 minutes. Yeah.
hour and 45.
So.
And that's the end of our
Yeah,
list here
Been through
of the commonly asked questions.
The official
to
list.
DJP, the official list.
that I threw together just by browsing my
Yeah.
YouTube comments.
Similar comments.
So that clock
can't
also
fold my
have
arms 'cause
countdown.
my mic.
The clock actually has a ton of different features. I'll have to do a separate video on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Countdown.
it does do countdown. Yeah, it has a ton of different display modes. You can have it where it displays like minutes, seconds, milliseconds, or a bunch of other things. Or it can do
Frames maybe, or
It doesn't do frames. Yeah, it's
That'd
not
be
it's not
fast.
that video oriented.
yeah.
But you could have it display like
Milliseconds?
hour, minutes, and then day of the month, or it's got a bunch of different things
Wow.
you can do with it. So, anyway, cool product. It doesn't seem like it should be $500, but but it was only $500.
It was only $500. Yeah, it was funny seeing a booth with just clocks.
It does not have a dedicated remote. It uses a piece of software that comes on a CD, so you can use to control it. So, yeah, I'll have to do a separate video on that on that clock. I'll give these guys a little promotion because they were great to work with. They were super nice. They knew their stuff, and I met the CEO of the company at NAB, and he knew
Nice.
he was a technology guy himself. He knew exactly how
He
it
was
all
there.
worked and whatever. So yeah, I was glad I discovered them. So
That's what NAB's for. Finding some of these products that you wouldn't normally
Yeah.
be presented.
yeah, I discovered a number of products at NAB that I couldn't.
kind of hidden.
Yeah, things are so hard to find on the internet. Something like NAB still has value because you just wander by like, oh, I need one of those and
It's
something,
true.
and
Or they have like a cryptic website you would never think to
yeah,
search for something and
Right.
it just
Yeah.
doesn't come up.
yeah, and NAB just happened to be wandering down an aisle somewhere.
There's
And,
a million vendors at NAB too, so
Mm-hmm.
it's just you get lost.
yeah, and a lot of times like, oh, I didn't even think about that yet. So whatever. But
And the new stuff. Some of the new stuff is really
Yeah.
nice to see.
so I try to go to NAB every year.
Thanks for sharing all of your information. Really awesome of you guys. Thanks, Eric. I think we're pretty much winding down because we're kind of out of things. Our list is gone, and
I'm about out of voice too. I'm not.
and my water is almost. Yeah,
I'm
you've
really
been-
not used to talking this long. you can hear it in my voice already.
Yeah, I'm drinking the water, and he's the one talking. I'm just kind of the dunce relief.
And you can ask Paul.
comic relief.
I'm not a very talkative person normally anyway. So for me to sit and talk about anything for
But
more than a
see,
few minutes is.
You say what you know, and it flows.
You guys have any last minute questions before we wrap up? I have most of my other gear handy, so if you wanted me to bring out something out, I can do that. But yeah, but do definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I've got some really exciting stuff happening, right, Paul?
Yes, you've got to subscribe. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the little bell icon to be to get the notifications and to stay current. And because I'm assuming I will be.
Paul will be involved.
I mean, I'm going to be involved. Sorry, it's hard to know exactly how to phrase what we're going to do. There'll be more. There'll be a lot of
There's more coming.
more coming. So
Paul's going to be around to help document a lot of the exciting changes. So.
yeah. So well, I was going to say share, but all these videos are so different. Share a video you like. Get people to tune in for some cool stuff later on.
Okay, video on the ATEM feature sometime. And have I used the super sources? I've played with the super source. I have not actually used it at a real event yet. Super source is where you can put 4 video sources up on screen at once, kind of like you see on the news. You know, like 4 people being interviewed and they show all 4 on screen. So
okay.
this new switcher can do that. My old one couldn't.
We got to play with that.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I haven't had a use for it yet, but I can consider doing a video on ATEM features. That video could be very long, to be honest.
Jigglebone, thanks for enjoying the stream, and I hope we do it again too, because this is.
Yeah, it'll probably be
fun.
a while before I do it again. I kind of need to build up a list of another set of questions.
Yeah,
before,
a Q&A.
Yeah, but I like doing these more than the other ones because we have some interaction and have some fun, and the other ones are definitely more scripted.
And interaction with you guys too. So this
absolutely, yeah.
It wouldn't be the same without getting comments and questions. So
Suggestions for what did I say? $5,000 budget. $5,000 budget.
we'll mull it over. Let us know.
That's
Send
good.
a check. Just kidding.
Send me $5,000. I'll send you some stuff.
We'll send you some ideas.
The tough part there is going to be cameras. You can get the Blackmagic $1,000 switcher.
Oh, see, I'm thinking creative line, and you're just
Yeah.
thinking, how much stuff can we use on a
Yeah.
project?
Yeah.
I got to get myself into the live mode.
There are actually some decent consumer camcorders out there under $1,000 that you could use for live production that do a reasonable job. I'm partial to Sony. I like Sony's imaging technologies on their cameras.
Yeah, I read that completely wrong. So, are you looking to do stuff like this, or is it just cameras?
Yeah, I'm guessing since it's on my channel, I'm guessing it's probably the live stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, so you can get the Blackmagic $1,000 switcher. You can pick up some decent cameras for under $1,000. So you can probably get like 2 or 3 of those.
What do your Z150s go for?
They're about 3,200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you wouldn't get more than one of those.
What about this guy?
That one is 2,000 for the HD, and then if you want the 4K upgrade for it, that's another 500.
Which is just like an update.
Software
for
update,
it. It's a
yeah.
software update.
Yeah, I hate that. The hardware's all there. Everything to do 4K is all in the hardware. They just
It's a little mini camera, but it seems pretty cool.
yeah, it's a really cool camera, and it matches up perfectly with the Z150s because it's 95% the same thing.
It's got the XLR inputs on this side.
Yeah. Yeah, take the handle off and it's tiny.
Oh yeah, handle comes off with some
Yeah.
bolts here.
Yeah, you just unscrew those.
Yeah.
It slides off to the back. That camera actually makes a really nice live camera.
A live camera?
For the sort of stuff we're doing. Yeah.
Does it slide off?
Slides
or does
backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha.
And then it becomes pretty tiny. And if you want even smaller, you pull, pull the out the front, and then
I'm just holding it in my hand like
like-
this because it is pretty small.
it's like consumer camcorder sized,
Yeah.
but yet as a professional camera.
But you throw all your goodies on there, and
Right. Let's see if we can get that back on. Yeah, there we go. Do you use Casper CG? I use it occasionally. That's the graphics program we talked about a
Yeah.
little bit initially.
I remember that one.
I do my own stuff more than anything else.
Diego, thanks for your question.
I know some people use Casper CG for like scores for sporting events. Again, I wrote my own software for that too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw that too,
Yeah,
and I remember you mentioning that.
yeah. So live production, get a couple of people on the big screen. So yeah, he's asking $5,000 to get a couple of people on the big screen. If you were to do the Blackmagic $1,000 switcher, and then you could probably get 3. Sony's got a pretty nice camera, 4K camera that's about $800, and it would be okay for live use. So you can get 3 of those, and a switcher, and your 3400.
That introductory
then a
model
recorder.
switcher.
Mm-hmm.
What's that one go for?
It's $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, and then you get like one of these Idx Studio mini recorders for $650, is it $675ish thereabouts,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you could probably have a decent setup.
$5,000, and you've got a decent. And it's,
Larry.
Larry's.
2 displays on your kit. the only monitors used for production?
No, I almost always have a Sony OLED monitor that I use for my multi-view, and then
What's that one at?
it's a 17.
17?
Yeah, and the Sony PVM A170. That's the primary monitor, and I've got the software set up here where I press one button and that shows it switches that monitor over to the preview or program view, so I can get away with one monitor for doing all that. So.
Yep.
So,
I think we're running
okay, guys.
low on time.
Yeah, we've been going a
Getting
long time.
Close to the end.
But yeah, I'm gonna leave this video up. It's gonna be just a normal video on my channel. People can reference it at any point. But if you happen to be catching this after the fact, make sure you're subscribed, and so you can be notified the next time we do one of these. Or you can leave your questions down below in the comments. Be sure and do thumbs up, like, subscribe. Paul, do you want to promote any of your
I
stuff?
do. I'm a camera assistant for feature-length motion pictures, and along with the live thing, and along with dabbling in other areas. But I typically do camera department on those, and I'm doing a vlog. Paul D. Green is my vlog on YouTube, and it's not always production, so it's
It's your life in general.
it's my life in general. So, but I will be doing more productions coming up soon next week. I was going to say who I'm working with, but I don't want to name drop. You'll see if you watch the that. Anyway,
Paul does some cool stuff.
that's kind of what I do. What was the question?
Or what do you want to promote?
Oh yeah, just that. I co-own Mainstay Productions. You can find us on Facebook. We do movies and
Okay.
fun.
Got a YouTube channel, but I don't see a lot being posted there.
Yeah,
so-
Mainstay Pro on YouTube.
Yeah.
We haven't. We've been semi-retired this year.
Doing other things more.
Doing
than
other things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We everybody involved with DJP stays pretty darn busy with stuff. So anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Certainly appreciate all the interaction. This has been more successful than I actually imagined. So I didn't think on a Sunday afternoon we'd have very many people watching live. But you guys have been good about having questions. So
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
yes, and until next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Fade out to black.
And then shut down the stream.
Can you hear us?